This is Entrepreneurial Minds, episode number 15. Da, da, da!
Boom! It's your boy Gary, Entrepreneurial Minds. We back at you again with another one.
Yeah, man, I like that intro, man. There you go. Good job, Gary. That what you want to hear, man?
It don't make a difference if I hear it or not. I know I'm good, you know what I'm saying?
I know. What's up, world? It's your boy King Gotham. We're back with another wonderful episode of Entrepreneurial Minds, man. It's going to be something great for you guys tonight. We got Lakeisha McKnight in the building for y'all, man. But before we get started, like always, we want to thank all our loyal listeners. We appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for the likes, for the comments, for the reshares. We appreciate y'all. Keep on listening, tell everybody about it, and most definitely check out all the previous episodes. And everybody, shout out all our previous guests. There's too many y'all to name, but I'm gonna say what's up to Marcus, James, and John. Get to see y'all on the 30th. Most definitely looking forward for that.
Yeah. This conference, man, it's gonna be amazing. Listen to any of their episodes, you already can tell. Them guys are gonna bring the heat on July 30th. Like, seriously. I mean, their minds are amazing. The giveaways that we're going to be having is going to be good stuff for you guys. The environment is just going to be amazing. Like-minded individuals all together in one place with one goal, and that's to kill the 9 to 5. You know, let's bury that job and resurrect your dreams. And that's what it's about. So what we're going to do is, we're going to bring Lakeisha and let her, tell everybody who she is.
All right. Hey, everybody. How you doing? Thank you for having me on your platform.
Welcome.
We are more than happy to have you on.
Well, Lakeisha McKnight. I'm actually born and raised actually in New Jersey, but I came down to New Jerusalem. came down to Virginia in 2005. And so down here with my husband and my 2 kids, and, just having a blast being able to empower other entrepreneurs to really get their message out there in a bigger way, so that they'll be able to live the lifestyle that they've always desired. That's really at the heart of what I do and, what my company does. But as far as me, at the heart of it all, I'm really just a servant leader. I'm really all about serving, and helping people to reach their fullest potential. That's what it truly is all about for me and what I do. I do various things, but this is the heart of what I do.
Passion drives entrepreneurs every day, all the time. There you go.
That's right.
And you said you got 2 kids, and one of those are fairly new, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes. My newborn, T. Lacey, and that's one of the things that being able to set and establish a legacy for her and my son. That is one of the biggest honors of being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, Gary was just talking about this last week. He said he got a chance to go have lunch with his daughter and go on a couple of field trips, and it just felt good to him, because if he was working 9 to 5, he would have missed those opportunities. So.
That's right.
Yep. That's what it's about that freedom. When I first left the job and made the decision not to go back, it was like, I was happy. I was like, oh man, I get to wake up, take my daughter to school every day and everything like that. That's what it's about. It's about the family. It's about not having to ask anybody to go do anything. You just, it's your daughter's having something, your child's having something, you get to be there. You get to make sure you see their first steps and everything like that,
Don't get all sentimental on though, Gary.
I got tissue right here, man. I was getting all teary-eyed. You know what I'm saying?
Let's get this ball on the roll. Miss McKnight, our first question for you is, I'm gonna get it right, Gary. Watch this.
I was waiting.
What do you think it means to have an entrepreneurial mind?
Oh, good job, man.
Now, that's truly one a mindset of freedom. That's the first thing that comes to mind when I think of an entrepreneurial mind. A mindset of freedom, one by which, ideas come about and execution happens. Because an entrepreneur, we can think of a million ideas, especially a visionary entrepreneur. But when it comes down to completing the project, that's the key. Carrying it out, seeing it through to fruition, and allowing it to become successful. That's the entrepreneur mind, strategic thinking.
Freedom is one thing that one of our guests last week, or not last week, was it last week?
Yeah, John episode dropped last week. Yeah, that was him. That was him.
He talked about freedom a whole lot, so that's one thing.
Which, like she said, I definitely agree. That is what entrepreneurial mind is all about. That's what we're all about, is freedom. And another thing that you said was execution.
Yeah.
Man, pulling the trigger on things. That is what differentiates us from the dreamers.
Right.
They just do nothing but dream. So you gotta pull the trigger.
So to get your execution going on, what kind of things how do you strategize executing your plans?
Wow. There are various things that I do. I definitely like to come together with people who are in my inner circle, because in order to really figure out what type of plan you want to establish to see that vision, or at least see that project become a reality, is being able to confide in other like-minded entrepreneurs, almost like a team of advisors, people that you can confide in, even if they're advisors or coaches. Being able to come together, just talk out your idea, kind of flesh it out a little bit. You can either do it verbally, or going and using some of the software and the tools online that would allow you to do so, such as one tool that's called MindMeister. It's a software online where you can brainstorm, organize it, and then you can definitely play things around, and helps you to really things in order so that the project becomes successful. So that's really how I get things going and really get the juices flowing, so that it can be a successful project throughout the duration of the project.
I've heard a couple people talk about using tools like that, the mind mapping tools. I downloaded one. I tried it.
See, this is my first time hearing those, but I'm gonna have to check this out.
So, where along the lines throughout the history of Lakeisha McKnight did you decide that you wanted this freedom? I mean, you said you've been an entrepreneur for years, right? But where along this line, what took you to that point to say, hey, I need to get out of this job, or I want something for myself?
When I saw the lovely Walmart greeter, who happened to be maybe about 70 years old. So when I saw the Walmart greeter, 70 years old, I thought to myself, why is that individual in that predicament? And the answer that came to mind is they have no choice, because once they retired, they had to, continue work all over again in order to survive. I did not want that for myself, and neither did I want that for my children. So when I saw that encouraged me all the more to get going and to really step out there on faith and really make it happen. That's how I really got my start.
Sound like a true entrepreneur, thinking about the generations ahead and what you don't want to deal with. We totally understand.
I think that is so amazing to me. For one, I mean, you answered that pretty quickly, so I must give you that. So, right. So, but then the fact that you answered it so quickly, it tells how true it is that you actually really remember and pinpoint that moment. You realized, like, this, I have to do something different. And that alone is powerful to me. I mean, just remembering that exact moment. I wonder how many people, that's a question we might want to start adding in, like, continuously, because now I'm curious to know, like, how many people actually can pinpoint that exact moment when because there's people, of course, that grew up with it, just like knew from young that they wanted to do this. But I mean, around what age? Now, I'm not asking your age right now. I know you ain't never supposed to ask a woman the age. I know that. So I'm saying, around what age was it that you remember that happening though?
Well, that would have been around, let's see, had to be about, had to be about 22, 23, somewhere around there. Okay. So it was early.
So fairly early on.
I'm sure you're glad you had
really early.
I'm sure you're glad you had Joe Lightning that early, because some people are still just now waking up or still haven't even been hit by the entrepreneurial bug quite yet, and they just still going to slimming.
Because it's when you see what the pattern that your family has been doing for generations. It's never been set free. They're still stuck in that pattern. It just makes you want to do something different. And this generation is all about doing something different. So
totally agree.
Yeah, exactly. So many people really what happens is the parents pass their chains down to you, and then you just put them on, and then it just keeps going on, right? So, but I'm interested to know, once you had that epiphany, like, you know what, like, boom, you saw the Walmart greeter handing out the smiley face stickers, and you was like, oh no, that can't be me. So what was your first step after you realized this?
After I realized that, I said, you know what, I got to really figure out, what do I really want to do? Like, what can I see myself doing for years that no one has to force me to get up and do? It comes naturally to me. And the more that I thought about it, I just began to reflect on some of the things that people said about me that shout most. And I remember that exact moment when I was crossing over into sorority, and my mother was there during that time, and she was making a comment. She was like, you know what? She was like, Keisha, everybody was listening and they were tuning in to what you had to say. I mean, everybody else had something great, to discuss, but it is when you opened up your mouth that everybody was just glued in. They were just really paying attention to what you were saying, and you're capturing people's attention. And all that moment, and when I recalled the moment, it was like I had like inside joy, and just the thought of being able to travel, being able to do that. So I said, you know what, my passion is speaking, and I use speaking as a foundation for really all I do. It really allows me to connect, to build relationships, and it opens up for so many other great things, projects, and types of ordeals, and many things. And it's allowed me to be able to go to different parts of the world, and I really love it. That's really what I love doing.
So, you say you're speaking as your passion. Have you always been a great and dynamic speaker that you had to work at?
I knew you were going to ask that question.
Of course.
The biggest thing I could say with this is no, I actually have not always been a great speaker. As a matter of fact, I used to be really frightened as far as being on stage and being in front of people. It wasn't until I did 4 years of acting in Jersey that I was able to work with a drama coach or a theater coach, and he helped me to really kick that fear and really get over that fear. And of course, through that experience that I had with acting in Jersey, that it helped me to really build a platform to be able to speak. So once I kicked that fear, it was a wrap. Now, today, can I say that I'm never afraid when I get on stage? Now, there may be a little bit of nervousness because I always want to do my best. But once I say maybe 3 or 4 minutes, I'm good, because I feed off of the audience's energy.
So I see the cure right now for stage fright is go find yourself an acting coach and be an actor. Wow, there you go. You know what I'm saying? That's going to crush it all right there. Then you're ready to go. All right, but I'm noticing a trend a little bit. Did you notice this, Arthur? With you noticed that she said her mother noticed it in her and said it, and what Marcus said something to the same thing.
He said his father seen him.
Right? Yep, his father seen him and told him, like, you know what, you have it. He just told him that he has it, and that's what he does now. The man does everything. He speaks as well, and so now I'm starting to think now. So you do coaching and things like that. So do you think that it's kind of the best speakers or the good speakers that you've probably worked with and dealt with? Do you think that just comes naturally, or can you pull it out of them? Like,
okay, do I pull it out of them? Yes, I do. And depending on if they're local in the area, those are the best ones to work with, because you have them one-on-one, face-to-face. But I find that a lot of people that I work with also do it via phone or via Google Hangout because they're located in different places. And pinpoint a great speaker, one that's patient and that's willing to work at their craft. Of course, you have to be coachable. Yes, that is indeed true. You have to be coachable. But you can pinpoint a person that has the ability to speak because they're patient and love serving, okay? And they want to share their story, inspire others. You have to really have that desire, that internal desire. Nobody can put that desire inside of you. And once I see that hunger, that desire to what needs to be done, I see it and I pinpoint it because I think about Dr. Maxwell. He's actually one of my mentors. I think about Dr. Maxwell and how, with the law of magnetism, it specifically says that, you attract those whom you are. In other words, I'm going to attract people who have like or similar qualities and abilities as I do. And I find that to be true because I attract, most of the time, women, few good men. Okay. Though I don't know why it attracts more so women, of course, because since I'm a female as well. But at the same time, it's just one of those things that people just resonate with me. They're able to say, okay, well, I'm going to work with Lakeisha, but I can honestly see whether a person's going to really go far as a speaker. You just see it because that's in me.
So how real are you with people as far as because I know when you see that there's people that's going to go far, I know you see people that just like, look, this just ain't for you. You need to just go do something else, go work at Walmart as a greeter or something.
Yeah, actually, you know what? I do see specific individuals where I just say, you know what? Go stick to coaching or something else, where they're not necessarily speaking in front of people, bigger audiences on stage. And I like to be transparent and honest with people. That's one thing that people enjoy about me, is that I am very transparent. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I'm going to say it with love. And I'm going to say it so that, it doesn't waste their time, because if it's not in them to do, it's just not in them. It may be the case that they're not to speak in front of large audiences, but they may be able to speak in front of a group, maybe just one. It just really depends.
Because I hate for you to be a money grabber and just be taking people money and then. So I'm glad you said that. So, like we just went over, you're talking about people, they just don't have it, and they don't have it. Give us a time where you got on stage and you completely bombed, and how you do that situation.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I truly believe that there were definitely occasions where I got a main point and I had to kind of wing it. It's thinking of a third point that will allow me to be able to utilize all of the time given to me. Because most of the times when you're hired as a speaker, they're going to tell you have like 40 minutes or you have 50 minutes to present, and then you have some time for question and answers. But I totally blew it with one of the last points I had to mention, and I had to kind of fly away with it. But the good thing is, this is where the theatrical training comes in, because then, with theater, you have to learn how to improvise. And so my theater skills kicked in, and I was able to improvise, and people didn't know that I messed up. Only I did. Now, of course, did I go back and when I finished, did I kick myself? Yeah, I did a little. But I also, because of my beliefs and what I truly believe, that when I get on stage, that whatever I say was meant to be said. And if I left something out, maybe it wasn't for them at the time.
That's true. And this leads me right back to my point, and I stick by it, that you need to go get an acting coach, and then you good on stage. Go get that acting coach, and then you can improvise and do everything. And just be rolling, man. Be good for it.
Okay, maybe we should do an improv session or something.
Hey, that'd be funny though, right? So now you say, of course, you mentioned that you're on the John Maxwell team. So how did that come about? Well, what made you choose to go that route, as far as choosing him?
You know what? And it goes back to the law of magnetism. They actually attracted me. See, one of the things that happened was, of course, I saw an advertisement on Facebook. I was like, okay, and then I saw, Dr. Maxwell, and I said, okay, because my passion, one of the passions at the heart of everything of what I do is that I really believe in leadership, or strong leadership in any type of setting, whether it be church, business, whatever it is. I believe that leadership is at the heart of it, and it needs to be strong leadership. And, I just connect with John in that way, and it really didn't matter whether he was like thousands miles away. And then, of course, he has representatives. He has his program. He has representatives that call people around the world, right? And so, of course, they called me one year, maybe about 3 years ago, they called me initially. And I was like, no, this might not be a good time. No, I kind of brushed it off a little bit. But when he came up to me, he approached me, one of his representatives approached me recently about it. And I said, you know what? I'll take a closer look at it. And of course I did my own praying and was asking God, you know what, if this is meant for me to do right now in this season of my life, guess what? I just want you to just drop that money. Drop that money in my hand. Just drop it, So, and so I prayed about it. I said, all right, cool. So then one day, my husband was just talking about something regarding some other job that he had way back when, and he had a pension, he had money locked into some type of account. I said, okay, well, how much money was it? So he told me how much it was. Of course, it was a little over 5,000 or something like that in the account. So I said, I find this to be very interesting because I asked God for a specific amount, that if this is what he wants me to do, that he was just going to just give it, at that time, and it wasn't going to be much of an issue, whether as far as, trying to dip into the budget with other business stuff. So, that's where it came from, and that's what allowed me to get plugged in, because I knew that was the answer that he really wanted me to connect with Dr. Maxwell. And I wanted someone who had great influence, who was a person of integrity, because I've been connected to other leaders, like in MLM companies, that, where their leadership totally sucks. And that just really, it really did mess me up. And I actually left the company because of it. So, leadership is at the heart of what I do, and that's what caused me to want to join that team with Dr. Maxwell.
Okay.
One thing that you said, and we've heard a couple of our previous guests just say, when they really want how to I prayed about it. And when they prayed about it, they got the answer either, yeah, go ahead and take care of this, or no, not yet. It's never a no. It's always a not yet. So that's one thing. That's one thing that me and Gary talk about often too. So we praying about it. Just know, we praying about it.
Yep, most definitely. So now I want to go the leadership route with you, because I was actually going to ask you what made you go like so strongly on leadership, but I'm gonna wait, because what I want to do, I want to go back a little bit, because you mentioned MLM companies and such, right? So I want to hear a little bit more about your entrepreneurial journey, as far as what have you done? Like, as far as what have you tried? What have you dabbled in? What kind of stuff have you started up?
Okay. Let me tell you about one of my business failures. Kingdom Coaching. Now, keep in mind, I started a Kingdom Coaching program company, if you want to say, maybe about, might have been a little about 12 years ago or so. And the funny thing is that at that time, I wasn't really quite experienced as far as relationships, or at least marriage is concerned. I was newly married. So keep in mind, here I am thinking that I'm going to be a couples coach, and I'm newly married. So that didn't work well.
Yeah, I would think so.
I'm year one in my marriage, and I understand everything you just said.
Yeah, because I said, well, I'm thinking about it now. Like, people who are, they're saying, well, I can be, your relationship coach. I can give you some strategies. And of course, the first thing that I'm asking, which I'm sure they were asking me at that time, was, first of all, are you married? And how long have you been married exactly? So, those are the questions that I ask people. And of course, now I can give people advice, now that I've been married a little over 10 years now. But, before, back then, I really didn't have the qualifications, except, of course, textbook knowledge, which really many people don't really want to hear too much. They want to hear the practical stuff. So,
yeah,
I kind of threw that one out.
That reminds me of that reminds me of the 400-pound man telling somebody how to lose weight.
Yeah, exactly.
You need to go drink some water. Man, look at you.
That's the same thing what everybody always say, right? When you read an article or you hear some type of research of so-and-so doctor said you shouldn't do this with your kids, or you shouldn't do this. First thing people say is, man, does he have any kids?
Right.
Some of them never even had a kid, don't even have no nieces and nephews. They just, just research it up. So that's a good one there. That was a real good one. So you decided you're going to be coaching couples and just got married.
Right. Just got married. Maybe married maybe about 8 months, 9 months.
Oh man, you wasn't even a year in yet.
You didn't even see nothing yet.
Right. I didn't even get over the honeymoon phase yet.
Yep.
So I knew that wasn't going to
Y'all
work.
still like each other, huh?
But one thing I can say that I learned throughout all that is that, with this marriage thing, is that you definitely got to have a solid friendship in order for it to work, period. You got to be like best friends.
I'll take that advice.
Yeah, that's So what else? What came after that? I mean, well, how long did you work at that before you said, you know what, this just isn't working?
Well, you know what? When I realized that I wasn't getting any customers, when no one was really seeking out my services, even though I was putting it out there. I think I might have had it open for about, I want to say about 4 months. 4 months or so after I had the plan, after I started the marketing. But one of the things that I realized too is that I really didn't, for the topic itself, I really didn't have a strong enough passion for it. And I say it this time, if someone has to force you to do it, it's really not for you. And I began to feel like, I was kind of dragging myself through it, maybe toward the latter end of the 4th month. I said, no, this is not it then. It can't be it. Uh-huh. So that's when I let that go. But I did join or sought out some direct sales or MLM companies, that I'm not saying that none of them really were good, but you really have to pay attention to the market of people that you're serving. For example, and this is nothing that's said against the entire race of our people, but most of them,
here it comes.
Most of them do not take their health seriously. And
I can agree with that.
Yes. They would rather pay or rather have a huge medical bill, rather than investing in their health right now with, of course, the products that are out there. So instead of paying for healthy products that's going to help you to endure and have a longer life, they'd rather wait until the latter parts of the years of their life to pay a medical bill for an illness they have to pay for.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And so because of that, with them not, kind of plugging in and being involved and wanting to try out the products, because I guess they were on the higher end, maybe, like the auto shipment might have been about like $100 a month or something like that. They really did not want to join or to test it out. And they were seeing that it was working for my husband and I. My husband and I, we were both in it. I was doing it. The husband, he was getting what he called buff, at that time. So.
Oh God.
So, he's getting swole. He was walking around with his arms out. Arms out to his left.
The muscle shirts and stuff on. So, but he really had it anyway because, he's former military. So, that was kind of like, he just had to keep it going. But it's just a matter of just working with our people. I think our people, it's a lack of knowledge, a lack of motivation, and, just the lack of I don't even want to say applying or implementing what they know to be true. But some of them really just don't care. The bottom line. They really just don't care. And it's been like this before, and they have this common saying. They'll say, well, I'm going to die with something anyway.
If you are not, yes, she is. I'm saying, like, this is stuff that I hear all the time. And I was like, come on, man. Like, how can you say that? Like,
right.
Does that make sense to you?
When I hear people say that, it's like, you don't even understand that the lower vibration that you're even operating on. Like, if you could even just get yourself to a higher vibration, your whole life and your whole surroundings and your whole everything would change tenfold just by understanding the vibration that you're on. And man, that is so powerful right there, man. Like,
and they don't get there, honestly. You don't even, it doesn't have to be perfect. Who said you don't have to eat salads all day, every day? Right. And stuff like that. It don't have to be like that. It's just making, smart choices here and there. It's life. You want to enjoy life. Get yourself a piece of cake if you want a piece of cake every once in a while. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But
I think it's called that conscious effort. You gotta make that conscious effort.
Exactly. Because the right thing is in front of us all the time. The right information. We read stuff, hear stuff, and we know what to do. But we do the complete opposite and then complain about it.
Yeah. And then sometimes, too, a lot of times they like to try to make an excuse and say it's really expensive to eat healthy. Now, there may be times, of course, certain things you want to get may cost a lot, but, you still can make healthier choices, even with, the budget that you do have.
Yeah.
I think I heard Dr. Sabi say one time, if you can't afford or don't want to pay for the healthy foods now, you're definitely going to pay for that expense later on. Most definitely.
That's right. That's right.
And that,
Mike, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, that applies to entrepreneurship too. If you don't want to put them out to invest in yourself now, you're definitely going to pay for it with your time later, with working and paying and hustling and trying to make
and handing out stickers at Walmart.
Handing out stickers at Walmart. I don't want to be handing out stickers at Walmart unless I want
Yeah, unless I just like, I'm older, I don't want to sit in the house, and I'm just bored, and I just love people,
Right.
and I just love
Right.
smiley face stickers. And I'm like,
no, man.
hey, look, you know what's funny though? The funniest thing is I had this chief when I was in the Navy, and we used to ask him like, yeah, he was about to retire. He was like, what are you going to do, chief? And he was like, I am going to go to Walmart and hand out stickers. And he said all the time. And surprisingly enough, he retired a little bit later. Then a month or two down the road, went to Walmart. He was sitting right in Walmart. And I'm like, but he couldn't get away from it. I mean, he was there. Next thing you know, moved somewhere else. Next thing you know, and I'll keep going back. He was up another position. I went back. He was running the whole Walmart. And I'm like, I was like, you just can't get away from it. He was like, they kept throwing it to me. I was like, yeah, cause I was like, you meant for it. I mean, honestly, this was this was the best chief I had when I was in the Navy. Hands down.
Wow.
Hands down. A great guy. When you're talking about, now granted, we're talking to Miss Leadership here, right? So, you know what I'm saying? So it's just so funny. We're talking, and when I say him, he was a heck of a leader. Ran the division ridiculously well. Got along with everybody. The man was good. Real good. Looked out for his people and everything, you know? So, funny, of course, talking about him and his leadership skills. As far as it goes with you with leadership, you talked about why you felt it was so important and everything like that. And it didn't become that important to you, like, out of nowhere, right? So I'm thinking something happened. You came across some bad leaders or something that made you that pop up.
She said she had some bad when she tried to MLM stuff, so.
Well, it's sad that this is where I got the experience from, and I cared so much about leadership. However, it was because of an experience that I had inside of the church.
Okay.
Yeah, and and of course, not to harp on it, but this is a valid point to make. It's an educational experience, of course, but the experience had a lot to do with tradition, holding on to tradition, and thinking that because of the position and because of the title that you ought to be revered or served. But of course, a lot of times leaders, whether in the church or outside the church, because of that experience that I had where, at this time, I had already known at the time that I already had a calling to minister. I really did. I already knew that. But it was at that time I was getting trained and getting coached, by the pastor at that time. He was taking some time to coach me and another brother. And I think the brother at the time, he was supposed to lead the service, one of the weekday services, and he had something he had to do with one of his kids, and so he asked me to step in. And so I lead the service, and at that time when I was leading the service, I think some of the deacons, unfortunately, they were sitting in the front row, and as I was leading the service, I want to say all of them had their head down. All of them had their head down, wasn't paying no attention. It wasn't as if they were just like purposely accidentally falling asleep. No. They all put their head down as not to pay attention, as to not to show respect. But one thing that it revealed to me at that time was that they were stuck on tradition. This is what God, of course, revealed to me. Being stuck on tradition, but also not revering the God in me.
Okay.
So they were so focused on the external appearance of who was presenting it, who was giving it, but they lost sight of the fact that it's still God.
See, that right there is what entrepreneurs do. We take those difficult times or those funny moments in life, and we take them, we flip them on a pancake, we get some lemon and make some lemonade out of it, and we make the best out of it. Look at her now, she's a leader. She's not working at Walmart. She's being an entrepreneur, coaching, and being the best that she can be, all from those previous experiences of things not going her way, and she said, "Who cares? I'm going to make things happen my way."
That's
yep,
right.
Exactly.
We appreciate it over here, Entrepreneur Minds, man.
Sure enough, do. And I'm just because you haven't noticed that we're probably going to ping on that Walmart thing the entire call. That's going to happen the entire call.
The title might be not working at Walmart.
I know.
How's that George Walmart?
You know, I'm seriously. I mean, I like that. Now, like I'm sitting here playing in my mind of how to incorporate that into the title of the show already. So,
This guy. So, we got a couple more questions for you before we get out here tonight. What do you do to keep your entrepreneurial mind going? Like, do you read books, YouTube, talk to other people? What do you do to keep your mind going?
Wow. What do I do? I definitely make sure that I have I have a couple of things that I do, like not on routine, but that I try to do on a day-by-day basis, such as, of course, I read the Bible that I enjoy doing. I also enjoy listening to motivational audio messages, whether it be from Les Brown. Of course, I invest time on a day-by-day basis speaking or listening to Dr. on this concept of leadership. And, of course, keep my mind fresh as well and have that entrepreneurial mind. You definitely have to connect with your physical body as well. And since I, engage in physical fitness, now, of course, I'm getting back into it now that I've had my daughter. That's a part of it as well. That helps me to have a fresh mind and clearly when I feel at my best. And I've done some type of physical activity, whether it's jogging, strength training, something similar to that. So those are just some of the things that I do to keep my entrepreneurial mind fresh.
I like the way you answered that.
Yeah, you seem very prepared here. We try to throw some curveball balls at people, but yeah, she over here killing us right now. I mean, not that I stomp anybody, but I can't say that I'm mad at myself when I do. Right.
So we say it all the time. It may be true, it may not be true, but everybody who's come on our show since our very, very first guest has 3x their business. Maybe you might let us down, or maybe it might keep me the way going. We'll see.
And honestly, it's not even just on the show now, because what happened with Bishop when we was on the radio on Friday? As soon as the room, he got offered a whole another half an hour to extend it.
No, he was like,
wow,
he's that good.
Yeah, now like we said before, this is a movement here, and we're not even doing it just based off of us. God is blessing us for sure to be doing a lot of things, meeting a lot of people that we meeting. As soon as we think something or anything like that, or we think like maybe we should do this, or I don't know if we should do this. Next thing you know, he just drops it on us. Bow. Okay, I guess you want us to do it. So, yep, we just gonna move. That's one thing for sure. We do is we just go. We sure don't just keep on working every single time.
Yeah, we want to see you coming out. We really appreciate you, man. I'm sure the audience getting a lot of get some real motivation, inspiration, get up and make that money.
Right. But it's great.
Sure.
It's a pleasure having me.
But before you,
appreciate it.
What you got, Gary?
I would say I wanted to see. Now, granted, we don't want you to be giving away none of them golden nuggets that you normally make everybody pay for, right? But we want, as far as leadership goes, right? I gotta get the audience a little bit of something.
I'll send my tab later.
Make out a Gary Alfred and not Oscar.
We're gonna split it with the listeners. We're gonna see how many people listen about it, after this one this one airs, and we'll just split the tab with them. We'll all put up, It's just But as far as leadership goes, right? What are a few I'm gonna split it in two questions. What are some of the biggest things that you see people make mistakes wise, as far as leadership goes? And I guess the second question is, what do you say about how to fix them?
Mistakes that I see people make when it's to leadership, as far as that's concerned, is that they go to a relationship, want to be served. So think that it's all about I. It really should be about you, that person, You have to work into a situation. It's just like Jesus. Jesus didn't come in there to be served, right? He came to heal the sick. He came for people who were sick. Those people were sin sick, they would call it. And he came to serve, not to be served. And so that is the approach that a leader needs to have. It's going to be coming in with the mind of service. And once you serve, then, you'll have a different outcome. But a lot of leaders walk into a situation with the mentality of, what can you give me, or what is it that I can get out of the situation? But if you take yourself out of the equation, you'll notice that abundance and wealth will follow instead of you necessarily seeking it out. But another thing that I see leaders, or I should say new leaders, do when it comes to whether it be growing a business or being involved with ministry, they have a hard time delegating. Responsibility, where they want to do it their way.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Like the common saying, their way, or they don't nobody else's thoughts. They don't. They don't. But I can just recall, a lot of situations where things worked out because you listened, you heeded the advice counsel, and delegate, receive help from others. Some people are just so headstrong or delegate all by themselves. It takes a team, just like you always hear, it takes a team to see the dream work. Teamwork makes the dream work. You can't do it all by yourself. And so what is the solution to that? Right? Getting a pen and busting the bubble, air bubble, right? Of thinking that you can do it all on your own. It doesn't work that way. You really have to humble yourself and realize that in order for you to see that vision come to fruition, you're going to need a team. I always tell people, if you carry out a vision by yourself, right? If you can carry out a project by yourself, guess what? It's not big enough. Or it wasn't a God-given project, because he's not going to give you something you can do on your own.
Yeah, buddy, me and Gary said at the time, entrepreneur minds wouldn't be nothing without each other.
I hear that. Sure enough wouldn't. Not at all. I would say I thank you for that. I think that's enough. Because I don't know how much the bill is going to be right now, so I'm like.
We can do something. He can do something with that.
I mean, we got a payment plan or something, you know what I'm saying?
I ain't put you on spot, though. That's all right.
Yeah, you did. Hey, look, I screw credit all
anyway.
up like I know.
Let our audience know how they get to if they need some coaching, some motivation, inspiration, just want to find you just generally.
Wow. Well, you can find me on the social media platforms. You, of course, just use the Anchor with L McKnight Speaks. So on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, right? Most of these places, if you look at L McKnight Speaks, that's a username that you can find me under. If you have questions regarding coaching, right? Or you have questions about consulting, you want me to take a closer look at your business and see where there may be some areas where you can use some enhancing, you definitely can get in contact with me via email, contact my executive assistant. You can reach her at admin@lmcknight.com. So admin@lmcknight.com is the email that you can use to reach executive assistants, and we'll be glad to see what we can do to assist you. Okay.
There you have it, people. Lakeisha McKnight. Hit her up if you don't working at Walmart when you're 70, unless you want
to. Yeah, L McKnight Speaks. Right. Look her up everywhere. Look her on up.
Well worth the wait from last week. We can talk about it.
Yeah, sure enough was. It was.
Thank you guys for having me. It was a pleasure. I had fun.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, it was a good time. So you can go to tend to the baby. We heard the baby over there making slight noises. We was like, oh man, wait a minute.
Yeah, she's trying to presence though. She's trying to get her little voice in there.
We share the stage with her. Come on.
She's growing a little leader over there, a little entrepreneurial mind.
She's looking at me like I want to say something too.
And she might drop some bombs in. You never know.
She is gonna be one that's gonna shake this world up. I already know it.
Yep. Into existence. I already know it.
Yep. Speaking into her life at an early age.
All right.
All right, Keith.
All right. It was a pleasure. Thank you so much, guys.
Bye.
All right.